All right, guys, the Iceman here, the man with the plan, the man with the knowledge. And I watched NWA, Great American Bash, 1989 Glory Days today. Ric Flair defended his title in the main event against Terry Funk. We saw the Road Warriors against the Midnight Express. We saw Sting against the Great Muta, Lex Luger going up against Ricky Steamboat for the U.S. belt. And the opening match was two rings side by side, 14 participants on one side. And what it did was when you eliminated, you went into the other ring until there was one person left on the A ring. And then he faced off when there was one person left in the B side. And he went for $50,000. A great pay per view. 1989 Great American Bash. Okay. Money in the Bank is all over with. And I want to say this: the ladder matches I thought were phenomenal. The tag team match with the Usos and the Wyatts was a pretty darn good match as well. Uh, all the rest was so-so, and I'm not downing on the WWE. Um, they're doing the best they can, and there's a lot of controversy and a lot of negativity about John Cena coming out on top in the ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship belt. People are blaming it all on John Cena, and I understand. You know, we've seen Cena and Orton for like 12 years, and I do understand that. Um, but instead of hating on the guys the WWE had win, why don't you just hate on the WWE itself? Um, it 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 amazes me to see how there's so much hate for one individual when he's out there doing his job. Um, and and I know a lot of people say, well, this man has a lot of say in what goes on. This one has a. When it's all done, said and done, it's Vince McMahon and the bookers that decide who comes out on top. So tonight, Raw is in Hartford, Connecticut. This is where I live in Hartford. I didn't know if I would be working on this night, so when the tickets went on sale, I didn't bother trying to get a seat. I could very well get on there and buy a scalper's ticket, but I think my best seat in the house will be here watching it live. And I just want to see what kind of reception Hartford gives John Cena. I hope it's a halfway decent one because, in my eyes, the man does not deserve all the hate that he gets. Um, yeah, people are tired of seeing him. People are tired of seeing Randy Orton. And but you want to know something? These are the only two guys in the WWE today that have been around the longest, other than Triple H, I should say, and The Undertaker, who is part time, so I don't include him. And I think in some ways, every now and then, the WWE does reward these guys for their contributions to the WWE and what they have done for the WWE. And I do agree it's time for the newer guys to get their big push to superstardom. Uh, and I'll be honest with you, I disagree with the fact that Brock Lesnar's coming back to main event at SummerSlam just for the fact I am not big on part time guys coming back. I'm sorry, I'm not. I was very ticked off back in 2013 when The Rock came back, beat CM Punk for the title, and faced John Cena at WrestleMania because, in my eyes, a better main event at WrestleMania would have been John Cena and CM Punk. Yeah, we saw a lot of matches prior to that, but these guys worked it so well. And plus the fact that would have given CM Punk his dream of main eventing WrestleMania. Everything could have happened. Everybody would have been satisfied. But The Rock comes back, and he's one of those guys. It's a big draw when he does come back. And the WWE sees dollar signs with The Rock because he is such a big movie star now. the WWE sees big dollar signs with Brock Lesnar. For one, I think Brock Lesnar's okay, but I don't like the fact that he gets big bucks for being part time. And when he does come back, somewhere along the line, he gets his due. He gets the recognition, and I know that he's supposed to get the title. I think it's wrong, but see, why aren't people complaining about that? Why aren't people saying, "What? Well, Brock Lesnar comes back and he gets the belt. The Rock comes back, he gets the belt." Why aren't people complaining about that? John Cena is here night in and night out. Randy Orton's here night in and night out. Just like the rest of the roster. And I don't take nothing away from them. I'm ready to see like Roman Reigns. I'm ready to see like Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, come up with the WWE World Heavyweight title. I'm ready for that. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally ready for that. But with the plans of the WWE wanting Lesnar and catering to Brock Lesnar for Wyatt or any of the members of the Shield to win only to lose it right away would really uh, sort of put a stop to their push. And so I see why they haven't won it yet. But in my eyes, if I were the WWE, Lesnar would not even be on the main event at the card at SummerSlam. I would have gone full bore ahead at Money in the Bank. Any one of the, you know, Wyatt or Roman Reigns, as far as coming out on top, or even Cesaro, would have been fine, although I don't like Cesaro being with Paul Heyman. I've stated that before. And then even if Roman Reigns won, and then say Seth Rollins cashed in his briefcase, wouldn't that be a neat main event at SummerSlam? But again, the WWE lives in the past. Um, they go with what they know is going to make them money. And I think they're really insecure with the fact of what they might do. And the bottom line is it's an if factor. If Roman Reigns were champion, if Bray Wyatt were champion, it's an if factor. Could they draw? WWE, it's time to start listening to the fans. It really is. And nothing against the John Cenas of the world and the Randy Ortons of the world and the Triple H's of the world. And even Daniel Bryan. I think what they did with Daniel Bryan was they shoved us um, with Daniel Bryan so much that I know there's still big Daniel Bryan fans out there, but weren't you sort of getting tired of seeing Daniel Bryan constantly on WWE TV? I mean, this constant push with the Yes movement. I mean, after a while, it got to be old. And, that's how a lot of people were thinking about John Cena and Randy Orton. Um, but it's not Randy Orton's fault. It's not John Cena's fault. It's not Daniel Bryan's fault. It's the WWE's fault. And I think, in my opinion, that the wrestlers that are out there doing their job, following their script, should not be hated on as much as they are. I mean, yeah, everybody has a right to their favorite wrestler and who they want to see win, but to hate on people the way sometimes people do, I just think it's totally wrong. But that's my opinion, and I'm just one person with that opinion. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people out there that do agree with me, but I know there's also a lot of other people out there that disagree with me. So, with that being said, I really do hope, being here in Hartford, that John Cena gets a well reception. His reception last night in Boston wasn't all that good, and he comes from Massachusetts. And I'm sort of not surprised because I think the fans up there feel the same way as the fans on the West Coast. I mean, there are locations, venues, cities that are bigger fans of certain wrestlers than they are of others. So the reaction is somewhat different. But if when it comes down to it, if you really think about it, if the WWE were to give it to one of the younger guys with their plans set in place for Lesnar to win at SummerSlam, why have Reigns, Bray Wyatt, or Cesaro lose at that match? A lot of people say, well, at least give it to them for a month or two. I think that would stop a lot of their momentum. So, really, who better to give it to um, than Cena? Although, Extreme Rules 2012, we saw Cena and Brock Lesnar. And, maybe a lot of people don't want to see that matchup once again. And I'll be honest with you as well. CM Punk's departure in January changed the whole outlook of wrestling for this whole year. Because I do believe that if CM Punk stuck around, Daniel Bryan would not be champion uh, at WrestleMania. I think there would have been a lot of different things that would have happened, and maybe we wouldn't even be talking about this situation right now. Obviously, we wouldn't be, because there would have been a champion at Money in the Bank, and it wouldn't have been a ladder match to crown a new champion. So, um, those are my thoughts and those are my opinions. Um, Raw will be on in about 50 minutes as this video is being recorded, a lot sooner after it's uploaded. So, everybody enjoy Raw tonight. Going out to my sister's tomorrow in Portland. Spend a couple days out there with my nephew Matt and the rest of the family. But, we'll just wait and see what happens. Enjoy Raw. Peace out, everybody. Have yourself a great night. Be safe. And, we got to understand, with my last words, a job is a job. When you get hired for a job, you do that job to the best of your ability. And you got to understand these wrestlers are in the same situation. So think about that. Peace out, everybody.